got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the money. The pressure be calling. Left on my blessings. I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something. That's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression is all that I wanted. The phone and affection. I summon and dub it. Cause I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the...
Welcome back to another episode of the Problems on Problems podcast. I am your host, Mike Santi, and it is episode number 10. Streamers, all that good stuff. Mike's own air horns. But yeah, it's a weird feeling. Really just the fact that I've done this for 10 weeks. I could have done it faster. No, I couldn't have. But yeah, no, 10 weeks of y'all just listening to me tell weird stories / talk about my life, which can't be that interesting. Otherwise there'd be more of you watching, but hey, who knows? We keep on. But yeah, episode 10. So I figured, why not explain why or how Problems on Problems started, mainly because who knows how far this bad boy is going to go. But if it does go further, we'll tell some more stories, blah, blah, blah. We'll tell some more stories. Already off to a good start, Mike. But yeah, there's opportunity to tell stories in the future. But for now, we're really going to talk about the inception of Problems on Problems. So let's take you back to... Let's take you back to a time where Mike didn't freaking live near a highway. 2018, 2018, whatever you want to call it. Back in simpler times, that's what we're going to do. My former business partner, not former, oh my gosh, still current podcast partner, current co-host, Jam, and I, through a lot of sessions, ideas, talking back and forth, things like that, the concept of questionable content came out, and with that, I don't know. I didn't understand this whole thing of photography and videography and all that stuff, but shoot, I still don't. Look at my videos. They're on a tripod. One-man show. But yeah, so in 2018, with all of this, the inception of questionable content, that one being the outlet or the arm to really talk about all things Charlotte. We thought there was a gap there. I still think there's a gap there. So why not highlight Charlotte talent, Charlotte businesses, what makes Charlotte awesome? But with that took a lot of building, a lot of time, a lot of practice, learning how to shoot film, learning how to edit film. And honestly, hindsight, it would have been so much better had I just started putting out content from the beginning. So basically, like everyone, what the successful people say, 1,000% right. Don't worry about it being perfect. Just go ahead and start putting it out there, and you can just learn along the way, because it's better than stockpiling what you had. And that's kind of what we did for a little bit, but that's neither here nor there, because that's the questionable content story, and this is not the Problems on Problems story. And so fast forward the next year, sometime in the spring of 2019, questionable content becomes a thing. I have the idea of the podcast arm of it, because questionable content is two pieces. There's there's the filming and the culture and the art, if you want to call it that, part of Charlotte, or part of the enterprise, and then there's the podcast arm. And through some conversations, it was just it was more my lane, the podcast side of things. Not to say that I don't enjoy being behind the camera and everything like that, because I'm way more comfortable behind the camera than in front of this. Me talking to you about all these problems. But yeah, so then 2020 happens. 2020 rolls along. I just kind of had an itch. I had a lot of changes in life going on towards the end of 2019 and beginning of 2020, where I thought, you know what? Trust me, this is allergies. I don't got it. We're good. We're free. We're negative. Chill. But yeah, so A lot of life changes led me to kind of take questionable content more seriously. I recorded 3 episodes, put out those 3 over the course of like a couple months or so. And with that kind of came a lot of other podcast ideas. So questionable content being the interview / Charlotte highlighting piece of whatever podcast project I was doing. That only did so much in a certain lane where I wanted to be able to do more stuff, but also stuff that wouldn't distract from the questionable content side, because it's still a very big thing for me. It's still very important to me to make sure that we're highlighting Charlotte talent. There are now 5 episodes out there highlighting Charlotte's musicians, videographers, photographers, business owners. And we're even continuing to do that with our Hispanic Heritage Month series. So you'll see more of that in the coming weeks. Or really, in the coming weeks, before Hispanic Heritage Month is over. But yeah, that only did so much for me. And I kind of wanted to do something less filtered. Most of my conversations that I enjoyed. Yeah, all the conversations I enjoy when I'm telling you guys dumb stuff all the time. I have to check to make sure I'm not like cursing in the first 5 minutes. But yeah, it's way more entertaining to tell you guys a bunch of embarrassing stories or like to ramble or riff off like a topic than to me at least, than to always give you this clean presented copy. I say that and then I edit out every like imperfection, or not all imperfections, but every kind of distraction. But yeah, so with that, there was highly contested, which you can tell originality so overflowing in Mike's brain when it comes to naming things. But highly contested was originally the idea of a buddy of mine and myself kind of just going over really outlandish topics. But then we quickly realized that if we wanted to both keep our jobs, our day jobs, the ones that pay the bills and things like that, there's only so outlandish you could be. But I also realized that it put me into, whereas questionable content is kind of that interview format, this put me into this co-host format that I realized that although my buddy and I, we were, what's a good nickname for him? We're going to call him the Composer. Boom. You have a nickname now. Welcome to the club. Join South End Ken. Receipt Guy is in the club. Ugh. Not the best company. It's 50-50 so far. But yeah, so the Composer, he and I were kind of going back and forth, but then we realized that like I wanted to talk about a couple things, or a lot of things that he wasn't comfortable talking with. He wanted to talk about some things that I didn't really wasn't well versed in or wasn't comfortable talking with, which is kind of hard to imagine now, but things happen. But yeah, so it was just one of those things where we filmed a couple episodes, and the other thing is that none of these episodes were ever sober. So imagine Drunk Answers or Truth or Drink, whatever episode 2 was of Problems on Problems, and multiply that, I don't know, exponentially, because you have 2 people that are not sober at all. And yeah, a lot of that footage was very, very unusable. If I can find some of it, I'll at least put the parts that have me in it to kind of give you a better idea of what was going on. But I say all that to really say that I kind of just started getting into this cycle, this carousel. It wasn't revolving. I don't know why. It was just this mindset of, oh, you should do something alone. Do a solo project, do whatever. And honestly, that was weird. Being in front of like this still. This isn't normal to me. I think I'm just like desensitized to it, that, hey, there's a camera in front of me. There's a giant light in front of me. There's a microphone in my face. But yeah, then we got to this point where I was like, yeah, do a solo project. And then I guess within that, there was this like a hellstorm of a weekend, and this is so dramatic. It wasn't even that bad. It was just like Mike's been single for a while, but there was a point in time where I was having relationship problems, not relationship problems like of a relationship, really problems in a relationship, friendship, whatever you want to call it, that I had with somebody else. Some work problems going on, not even work problems, just work stresses, and some financial problems all on one. And I was feeling mopey, doing what you would normally do when you get in your feels, whatever that may be. I did the lazy version of that. I was like in bed, feeling sorry for myself, doing whatever. And that maybe lasted all 24 hours before I was just like, you know what? You got all the equipment, you got all this stuff. What better way to say what you want to say than now? Like, just do it. Sure, you need a name. Like, you're going to need a lot of things. You're going to need Instagram pages or social media pages. You're going to need, like, email addresses, things like that. So I'm sitting in bed thinking about all this stuff, and I definitely, this is like cart before the horse kind of thing. Speaking of which, you know what? Slight side tangent. What's going on with all these sayings? I understand like the idea that the cart before the horse is like I don't understand that thing anymore. I'm pretty sure I just use that so often that I just like completely forget where the original comes from. Producer Mike, let me know what's the lesson behind the cart and the horse thing? Like, you're supposed to get the horse first, then the cart. Is that true? I think that's true. I'm pretty sure we're going to go with that. You're supposed to get the horse first and then the cart. Because if you get the cart before the horse, you're getting a bunch of extra stuff that doesn't really matter. Look at it. I think we figured it out. If not, I'm pretty damn convincing. But yeah, I didn't really think everything all the way through first, where I was like, okay, think of a concept, think about what you want to talk about, whatever. And I was like, I want to talk about all the stuff that I'm not allowed to talk about on other podcasts or projects. I want to talk about that. And there's an artist out there. I give him shout outs every time in my details or in my description. HD Bin Dope, also through Epidemic Sound, real quick. This is completely free promo for you guys, so you're welcome. But yeah, Epidemic Sound is a database that I use for songs, whether that be intro songs for videos, things like that. You pay a subscription to it. It allows you to use like X, Y, and Z pieces. There are different levels of subscriptions that allow you to have more copyright licenses and things like that. But I say all that to say there's an artist that I use that we use for the questionable content intro, HD Bin Dope, where he had a newer song called Bird, which is what you guys hear all the time for the Problems on Problems intro.
I got problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the money. The pressure be calling. Left on my blessings. I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm.
But yeah, so I was listening to Bird. That came on my playlist. And it was one of those things where I just heard him talk about his problems. And I was like, you know what? We all got problems. But like, man, I got problems on problems. And then it just stuck. And then from there, like movie montage moment, it didn't really happen like that. But in my head, I would say like, oh yeah, that song played like on repeat while I was thinking about all this stuff, while I was thinking about like the logo and all that, when really I still had no idea what I was going to like talk about. And then the free for all happened, where the logo was a complete accident. I was messing around with stuff online. I accidentally double clicked and copied / overlapped some tiles onto each other, and it got me exactly what I wanted there. The colors, I always wanted some bright colors. I always wanted some like 90s / 80s colors, so I knew that neon something had to be in it. For some reason, the purple and green just really like stuck out to me, and now it's there for good. That neon purple, I think it's neon purple, definitely neon green. But yeah, those bright colors are there to stay, especially on the black backdrop. Be ready for the merch when that starts dropping. But yeah, so then we did all that stuff, and in true Mike fashion, why not be the most dramatic / the most dramatic but least harmful version of yourself, which is like me starting episode 1 with the divorce story, where it was something that I had lived through. Did I live through it? But yeah, I lived through it. Like, I've gone through so much. I had changed so much. I had gone through so many other things in life where like me 2020 Mike, and the Mike, even then, the beginning Mike, we'll get into that later. But yeah, 2020 Mike and this Mike that was formerly married Mike, if you want to call it like that, they were not the same person at all. So it was just, I didn't have a beard. I barely have a beard now. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, it was just one of those things where I thought, hey, now's as good a time as ever. And I think the weekly thing just kind of, I kind of just got stuck on the weekly side of posting, but it was kind of just to keep me accountable, keep me going. I'm really good at just shelving a lot of things and not really producing them, kind of thing, and convincing myself that I'm just waiting for it to be perfect when in reality I'm not working on it. So this was one of those things where I was like, hey, let's start pumping it out. That I don't like how that sounds. I'm sorry you guys had to listen to that. That is disgusting, Michael. But yeah, I say all that to say to the people that have been watching for the last 10 weeks. If you're brand new, welcome. Hey, we don't do this all the time. I usually tell you some crazy stories or life lessons that I've learned in the short amount of time that I've been here, while loud cars drive by my apartment and I ask you all these other things. But yes, for the new people, welcome. For the people that have been watching since episode 1, I appreciate you guys. Don't think I take it any lighter. It's freaking dope. The single moms that are out there going through your relationships, of single ladies, single people in general, that's a lie. False. Single women, hey, what's up? Mike, very single. I don't know where I'm going with that. I'm so sorry. But yes, thanks for coming along the ride. Hopefully you stick around for a little bit more. I'm going to take a break, and then when I come back, number 1, we'll talk about future episodes. But number 2, we'll do the thing that we always do every week. The blah, 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 blah. Do the POP thing. POP, hold it down. So episode 10. Episode 10 is still within Hispanic Heritage Month, so we're going to keep that vibe going with the Friday food debate. Let's ignore that whole weird with that I talked about. But yeah, the Friday food debate. Last week we decided. Did you think anything was going to change in 10 episodes? I decided that with the idea of Hispanic Heritage Month, I wanted to know what you guys preferred between elotes and esquite, which, for those of you that needed a reminder, elote is basically corn on the cob, but it is done up completely, so with like lime juice, crema, grated cheese, spices, some hot sauce, not some hot sauce, you know the deal. Whereas esquite is that, but not on the cob, it's in a cup. So take that for what you will. So we asked you guys, which one do you prefer best? Prefer more? And the answer was overwhelmingly elotes. So on the cob, one with 70%. I don't know if I'm surprised. I feel like that's the more commonly known one. Thought I heard a siren. Maybe not. But yeah, the elote is just kind of, it's more well known. So I guess maybe I thought that was, what did I think? Am I having a stroke? I am not surprised that elote won, or elotes won, mainly because they're more well known. Esquites are a lot more convenient, to me at least, mainly because you don't have the mess of eating corn on the cob. But hey, that is not my problem. That's up to you guys. So this week, I'm going to start this off by telling you that if you're like me, maybe some of your habits have increased throughout quarantine, the beautiful time that we're currently in, where we're still amidst a pandemic and you happen to find yourself within your domicile. We're never going to figure it out. But yeah, you find yourself in all these places, really your place over and over again. Same place, same area. If you're like me, you basically see this spot all the time. And with that has come a little bit of increase on some of my habits. Some of them are consuming habits, consumptive habits, habits in which I consume things. One of those things is alcohol. If you haven't learned by episode 2, Truth or Drink, Drunk Answers, I don't really remember what I named that one, but we'll see. But yeah, I've got the drinky drinks. And so, you know who also makes drinky drinks? Because we're adults here, and that's how you say things. My two favorite liquors. Liqueurs? We got to stop doing this. But yeah, let's break it all down. Hispanic Heritage Month, this week's Friday food debate is tequila versus rum. They're not even close to the same. So the only thing you got going for them is that, well, I'll wait to tell you guys my opinion on these drinks next week after we have the answers. Because for now, you guys don't need to know. I'll drink them both. That's really all you need to know. But yeah, so this week, tequila versus rum. And with that, we kind of move over into our beautiful section of... I knew it. If I waited long enough, they would show up. Look at that. We got the people back. It's a road. It's bound to happen. But this week's Friday follows. We're keeping the theme or motif of Hispanic Heritage Month continuing. So the business that we're going to shout out this week is Tacos El Nevado. They have 2 locations. I personally go to, and I'll post them both, but I personally go to the South Boulevard one. I like it a little bit better. I've gone to the Central one. It's just a pain to get there. It's easier for me to do the South Boulevard one. Don't ask questions. But yes, they've got some, not just the tacos, but their entire menu. Like, you can go ham on those. And their agua frescas. Like, that's, it's a good time. You should definitely go there. I'll put both of their locations up here. The thing I do all the time where I think I know where I am on a screen, but I don't know where I am on a screen. But yes, Tacos El Nevado. I know normally we do an individual for number 2, and this kind of counts, but the owner, the pioneer when it comes to her own storefront, her own online presence, she is in the Hispanic Heritage Month series. Unfortunately, Mike deleted all the footage from the first taping, so we're doing another taping, but it is none other than Suzy Collins, owner of El Boutique. So I will copy that or attach that somewhere in the screen, like I always do. But yes, Suzy has been doing bits. The first interview was awesome. I actually have the audio file for that. We might release that at a later date, but I definitely want you guys to... I don't want the world to know Suzy from a visual standpoint, not just an audio standpoint. So there you are. Both of these businesses, individuals, whatever you want to call them, they are doing bits. And I need a shirt that says that. I need a hoodie that says doing bits. I need a shirt that says doing bits. If you make shirts or hoodies, holla at me. Let me know. But yes, so that's it for our Friday follows. Couple quick announcements before we wrap it up. Oh yeah. Number 1, guys. Welcome to week 2 of tryouts if you're in cuffing season. Just keep that in mind. I have nothing really else to say about that, but yes, be on the lookout for that. I'll break down some more things, probably with some other guests that have lived through cuffing season as if it's like some gladiatorial. Did I just make that word up? As if it's some crazy thing. But yes, other than that, announcements, let me know what you guys want to see on the show, who you want to see on the show, because we're going to be bringing on some guests fairly soon. One of them I can tell you, but I'm not going to. But yes, we'll have a lot more guests on the show to talk about, everything. real quick promo, and I'll actually cut this out into a separate kind of trailer on its own, but ladies, gentlemen, adults above the age of 18, please, yes, not a please. Ladies, gentlemen, adults above the age of 18, I want to know your DM horror stories. Not only your DM horror stories, but your dating horror stories. But yeah, let me know what's happening in those DMs, what's happening on the dating apps and things like that, because we're not going to put people on blast. We're just going to tell some really fun stories with a couple of guests that I have coming in. But yes, don't forget to send in those. Don't forget to be on the lookout for the questionable content and the Problems on Problems collab, that Cribs video. Special guest appearance by Fat Mike. It was a thing. I mean, I'm not skinny now, but like compared to back then, you see the intro, you know what it is. But yes, that collab, be on the lookout for the divorce Q&A / the part 2 video coming out, and then a probable Truth or Drink 2. Other than that, guys, it is always a pleasure. Thank you for stopping by again. Enjoy the rest of whatever this is for you, whether that be your week or weekend. And like I always say, if it's not a good time, hope it's a good story. And I'll talk to you guys later.
Check out problems on problems on problems on problems on problems on problems. I solve them. I run through the money. The pressure be calling. Left on my blessings. I feel like I'm falling. The birdie is back. Tell me I'm garbage. I'm going through something. That's why I ain't calling. Phone and progression. It's all that I wanted. A phone in affection. I summon and dub it.